Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome once more to the Longrich Breakfast Testimony Show. Today I'm very excited. I'm with one of our great leaders, top leader, Star Director, Pastor Okey. Pastor Okey, welcome.
Thank you so much, Pastor Sifiso.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm actually very thrilled today that I'm actually interviewing or maybe in discussion with Pastor Okey. Pastor Okey, for those that do not know, he's actually one of the pioneering leaders of Longrich, South Africa. I think just over 4 years ago, when Longrich was actually an unknown entity, he actually was one of the key people that actually started this movement. He's my super upline. I don't know at what level is he at. But anyway, thank you so much. I'm very glad, Pastor Okey, that you are here. And, I think we're going to have some very deep conversations because for me, especially engaging with a person like yourself, at the level of leadership that you're at, it now calls for talking about the vision, talking about the depth of the business that we are about.
Yeah.
And maybe just to start off, maybe I do know when you actually started, but for the sake of those that are actually watching right now, just give us a brief background on who you are, when you started this business, and all that.
Okay. Greetings, everyone who's watching in South Africa, Africa, global, because Longrich is global.
Yes.
My name's Okechukwu Nwanedo Ezebuike. Nigerian, based in South Africa, born to Sir and Lady G.O. Ezebuike. Wow. My father was a retired banker, my mom a retired teacher.
Wow.
In terms of profession, a qualified pharmacist. Okay. Married with one wife. Yes. And 2 children, a male and a female. Okay. I'm an ordained pastor for the King's Church Jesus Cathedral Ministries in Fendale, Randburg here, so which is where the title of pastor comes in. Okay. Star Director 2 of Longrich. We give God glory for that.
Amen.
Now, how did I end up here? Well, basically, I moved over from Nigeria to South Africa about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Of course, in search of what they call a greener pasture.
That's it.
Because I got a profession that is globally recognized, and I needed to plug in somewhere, to work and get the best return out of that. So God led me to South Africa. When I came in here, I was received widely. I grew up in my profession to the position of a manager.
Okay.
I don't know, many people may not be aware, but yeah, I became a manager for the regional pharmacy that supplies medication to the West Rand district of Gauteng province in South Africa.
Okay.
So I was in charge of that. Actually, I had over 30 staff to my complement reporting to me.
Okay.
I was controlling over 20 to 30 million rand budget worth of stock.
Wow.
So I was good in my profession.
Excellent.
In the Department of Pharmaceutical Services of Gauteng province, they knew me. I was good in my services. In fact, when I was in charge of the district became one of the top districts in performance, in the country. And a lot of things were introduced there. But in the middle of all that, I wasn't really satisfied.
Wow.
Okay. The reason was that I was occupying a big position, getting paid monthly like everybody else,
Sure.
but the money wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I found myself more in debt because trying to meet up with the demand of life,
the cost of living and all that. Yeah.
and all that. Nothing exotic, just basic stuff. Okay. So I was looking for an investment platform to get myself involved in. I did a lot of research, investigations about franchises and all that. And a lot of them were good, but they require that you have a certain amount of money to put down as a startup capital, and then you have to work it.
Yes.
And from my analysis and projection, you need about 5 years before you begin to see returns on your investment.
Oh.
Now, I didn't have a lot of money in my bank account, so when the banks are giving me the unencumbered funds they needed for me to join, I was like, where am I going to get that?
That's it, yeah.
And writing the proposals and all that stuff, I mean, even after writing all that, the banks will tell you, okay, sorry, we can't help you. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. But that's exactly what I presented in the proposal, which wasn't honored by the bank. So there was a restlessness with it.
Sure.
26th January 2016, I was invited to attend the Longrich meeting.
Okay.
What was Longrich? I mean, I was just wondering. I was told it's a network marketing business and all that from China. Now, prior to that, I joined a network that I will not mention the name. I bought the combo requirements and all that. I looked at it, I consumed the product. I couldn't even do what was required in the business. So I left that aside and continued with my daily life. But my wife started telling me about Longrich business and all that. I told her, is it one of those network marketings again? Can you take a look at me? I'm somebody that values his time.
Sure.
Okay? As a professional, I was involved in after-hours jobs as well, using my skills and my qualification. So I was looking for shifts, as a pharmacist, what I would talk about. Time was precious.
Exactly.
So we believed in committing time to places where your services are needed, and of course getting paid for that input. So I was a firm believer that, for you to make money, you need to provide something that you have, which is your skill or whatever, service somewhere, which is a value that you get returns from.
Sure.
So my pastor, who happens to be my upline in this business and my sponsor as well, based in UK at that time, told me, attend this presentation.
Okay.
Now, out of obedience,
you went.
I went. This is someone whose wife has been trying to convince to attend the presentation and to join the business.
Sure.
But because there was now a higher command from your pastor, Pastor Pamela Queen, I attended.
Okay.
I will never forget that day. I think it was the 15th of January 2016. So I attended, dressed up because it was a business meeting, dressed up professionally and all attended. While I was in that meeting, my wife couldn't attend anyway because she had to stay back at home to take care of the kids, and all that. But she was in touch with me through the cell phone, and she wanted to know how the meeting was going on.
That's it.
So I told her the meeting was going on well, through SMS and WhatsApp messages. But she wasn't satisfied, so I took some photos and sent her in the process. And she still wasn't satisfied. So I had to take a video recording of some sessions and sent to her. I think it blocked her phone memory. She now said, okay, we'll talk when you come back home. I said, at least I've gotten the message, to her. But while I was there, I was asking myself, what's the catch? When you attend business meetings and you hear people give you all these flowery talks and all that, your brain begins to race and like, why are they doing this? What's the catch in this whole thing? But I remember that the week before, I went to a bank to look for, education and investment packages for my kids because, I needed to take care of some things as one was aging.
That's it.
And the percentage interest of repayment on funds that I would lock up in the account was not impressive to me. So I felt it was an insult to put a lump sum away in a bank and you just paid peanuts in interest. So I was looking for something that would really, make sense. So this meeting was hitting it for me because when they were talking about the product and talking about the compensation plan, first of all, I looked at the whole composition of the business. I looked at the product of the business, one thing that struck me was that these are your daily essential products.
That's it.
It's whether you like it or not, you spend money on that. And I know, from business books and other books I've been reading about investment, that once you get yourself involved in things that are consumed on a daily basis, you've already plugged into a system that would bring back returns to you. So that was a big tick for me. And then looking at the compensation plan and seeing that you can actually earn progressively, from 10% all the way to 65 or 67%, just from changing your brand, your daily consumables, to a much better brand. For goodness sake, I don't need anybody to decode that for me. I've got common sense. It's a no-brainer. And I looked at it, I said, this I can do.
Sure.
I don't need to try to convince somebody to do something that they don't need, because they're already brushing their teeth, they're already having a shower, all that stuff.
That's it.
So, at the end of the meeting, my pastor, Pastor Pam, whom of course we pioneered South Africa together at that time, asked me, how did the meeting go? I said it went fine. And she was asking me, what's your decision? I've already made up my mind at which level I was going to join. There were no promos, entry-level promos at that time. I realized that the best position to take in any venture that you want to get involved in is the top position. There's a reason why the top positions are there. It gives you what I call a quantum leap and a leverage to start your journey. Okay, and I'm a firm believer that if you really want to start a journey, you need to commit to your journey and start it on a high note.
That's it.
Is it going to pay? Is it going to be painful? Of course, it's going to be painful. It's going to cost you something. And this whole notion of I want to get into a venture that will not cost me anything. It's I call it a robbery, a robbery mentality. You have to pay the price, but you have to believe that what you're getting yourself involved in has got a future and an end.
That's so true. That's so true.
Okay.
Wow. So, what you're saying is you've been at this since 2016.
Yes, exactly. In fact, it was 26th January 2016. Last weekend, 26th.
It was your anniversary.
It was my anniversary for 4 years into this business.
And thanks to you, here we are. We are now part of this big chain, big network that you guys have actually pioneered.
Let me tell you, this business actually was not. When I came on board, I looked at it as a vehicle to empower people.
That's right.
Because in our church, we had a lot of people who were unemployed. And we had a division that was actually assisting people to put up their CVs and post it on job mails and all these portals. But not everybody was getting, the responses they needed. So to us, my upline, and to me as a church member then, we saw it as an avenue to empower people. First of all. In fact, this vision, God works in mysterious ways. When you start something, you wouldn't know the impact of that.
That's so true.
And glory be to God that through this business platform, a lot of people have been blessed. Families have been actually blessed. People, households are having income. Lives have been turned around for the better. Ailments, the testimonies that comes from those business as a whole, from the products, from the income generation, giving people a sense of pride, it's amazing, which is why I believe that God blesses you to be a channel of blessing.
As you're talking, you're touching on some critical points, and I'm actually very excited, with this discussion, because for me, if everyone could actually be able to understand, the depth and the weightiness of what you're talking about, we could actually begin to value, the business that we had. But I just want to take it back a little bit. One part that I didn't know about you, I knew that you're a pastor, but I didn't know that you are also a professional from a pharmaceutical space. That for me just begins to blow my mind, because I always say to people, the minute you decide to come on board a program like this, a vehicle like this, you need to know what you're going into.
Yes.
Okay? I'm one person, I believe in research. I believe in exploring before I can actually throw myself into something.
Yes.
I analyze the risk and make sure that we are, on the right space.
Yes.
Now, what I pick up with what you are saying is a professional like yourself, you wouldn't have just jumped into this thing. You've got your career, at stake.
Yes.
You needed to make sure that as you jump into this venture, you know that it's not going to be impacting, your career in any way. But the confidence was there. And clearly there is something that sold you, that actually hooked your confidence into this, a professional like yourself?
Yes, you see, like I always tell people, I was good in my profession.
Yeah.
A pharmacist, it took me years to qualify as a pharmacist. So I had dreams. Okay. But you see, I don't want to get caught up in what I call a routine lifestyle. Our profession demands that you are always present, for the area, the sector I was involved in. I needed something that would enable me, with the zeal, with the ambition I had, and with the dreams I have, plug into a system that I will build, and after a certain time would give me back returns without necessarily taking up all my time and all the energy as I age.
Yeah.
So I must tell you, yes, professionals can get involved in this. I mean, there's nothing. It doesn't mean that it's poor people that should do network marketing.
And I like that statement, because there's this perception that has been on people to say network marketing is for those people that are lazy, people that just want things coming easy. And I don't believe that. I mean,
no, network marketing is about people who don't want to be put under a ceiling.
That's it.
Who understand the value they carry, and want to apply it into an area, a sector that will not jeopardize you or will not limit you.
Yeah,
because no matter how good you are in whatever you're doing, you're paid a certain amount of money.
Exactly, and I mean exactly what you're saying now. There's two elements there. You know that if you are in this, what do you call this? The generic, type of works and stuff, you are limited. Your income is limited.
Yes.
But your time, mostly, is also limited.
Yes.
I mean, I heard you earlier. You were talking about because of the dreams and stuff that you had. You actually looked at yourself as well. Moonlighting, making sure that you
exactly
can
doing hair. They found out at some point I had 3 jobs. I mean, I would leave the house in the morning. Then my kids were all little, but by the time I come back, they're all sleeping and all that. So
that impacts on your time, your family
of course,
time.
and even health as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. And now with Longrich, you guys came on board and you pioneered the whole thing. I would take it was not easy in the beginning.
Frankly speaking, it wasn't easy because at that time, number one, there was an existing network that a lot of people were involved in that just crashed.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, the origin of Longrich is from China.
Okay.
And there's always this perception that can anything good come out of China.
That's
and you know what? I was worried, okay, really, everything that comes from China has to be looked in through a lens to be sure that it's genuine. But you know what? Look, one thing I must let you know is I heard the voice of God in this business. Okay, if you practice the presence of God, I'm speaking now as a Christian. Okay, because I know that my steps are ordered by the Lord.
Sure.
He will lead you into things that you will not know the end.
Okay.
That only Him knows the end.
Wow.
But you have this inner peace that what you're getting involved in is approved.
Wow.
And this is what I keep telling people. And when people throw things, it's not as if there were no other networks that were presented to me at that time. But the moment I look at it and there is no confirmation of peace that this is it, I just throw it aside and continue my profession as a pharmacist. But when Longrich came, I was looking for a reason actually not to even embrace it. And I'm like, is there anything like this before? No. Where have they been? I started asking questions. Then when I researched and I discovered that, first of all, these guys control the whole supply chain procedure. They manufacture the product. They are into manufacturing, for goodness sake. Not that they are the products are being manufactured by somebody else and they pull the whole thing through the supply chain. They do the manufacturing, they do the retailing, and they push this unique product through direct selling so that to empower individuals.
That's it.
And the products are life savers. This is a company, bioscience company.
Wow.
Over 30 years in establishment. I said, no ways, man. These guys are not jokers. They're not fly by night.
Sure.
These guys are genuine. They are physical on ground. They have offices. They are not existing on the internet or wherever, whereby you don't know anything. If anything happens, you can locate them.
That's it.
And at that time, I even heard that they were existing in Nigeria. because the Nigerian market is about 8 years old.
That's it.
So we started making inquiries and like, no, these guys have been around. And when I now discovered that, man, that they even have an expansion plan,
Sure.
I said, then this is where I should be. But most of all, I had peace.
I think I like the part, the peace part, because that peace part gives you confidence.
Super.
It makes you rest assured.
Yes.
And focus on the journey that you are in.
Exactly.
And I think maybe picking on that part, basically, I would then connect the future that then emanated from that space to exactly the peace that
Yes.
you have. Because I'm aware that right now, we personally have learned, from people like yourselves. Upon pioneering in South Africa, I think about maybe a year or a year and a half after you came in, there was a boom, that actually came up, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, as pioneers, you moved into other countries. You moved into Zambia. I know you also moved into Malawi recently. And for me, that actually was a lesson, because if you can notice very well, just as you guys moved into Zambia, we moved into the DRC. Because I realized that there's a lesson that can be learned in this. Because if you are a pioneer and you are driven by this peace and confidence that you have on this company that you have researched and the products and the quality of those products, you are willing to put your head on the block.
Yeah. Pastor Sifiso, let me pick up on that. You can call me a pioneer, you can call us a pioneer. But, the truth, when we started actually investigating, was that Longrich was actually existing before we came on board.
Okay.
Now, because we had, there were members in Botswana and in Namibia.
All right.
And I'm like, okay, well, where are these people?
Yeah.
So when when we heard about that, we said, okay, then we need to do something for this business to be known and to be taken to the people.
Sure.
In fact, present at that meeting was, a colleague of mine, Reverend Sade. She's a good trainer. For me, I just came to observe, and of course I said, okay, is it something to start with? My spirit confirmed, yes. Then together we're like, okay, we need to start something. She ran with the training department of training, doing presentations at the office, so as to have a routine going on to bring awareness of this business.
Okay.
So pioneering, application form was filled. At that time there were no, what I would say, codists. You couldn't get a code. It took me 6 weeks to get my ZA code. Wow. And even when it came, some placements were wrong and it had to be sent to China for correction. There were no promos. I joined in as a platinum VIP. Do you know how much that is in January? First of all, I'm coming from December. There's no money. In fact, when my wife was asking me what's the decision as a family, I said we're all joining. And she knew exactly our financial situation. I said we're joining because I wanted to start something with the family. And I joined using our credit card. Okay. I maxed out the credit card. She was actually shaking. Women, they love security. Yeah. But you sent me on a mission, isn't it? To go and attend the presentation. I have to make a decision as the head of the family. I said we are joining. I risked the affairs, the financial, situation in the family to get everybody on board because I understand timing. Okay? And I got at the top.
Okay.
But when I got there, I knew that I've given myself a task to recover that, because when things comes easy, there's no commitment.
Wow, I like the part.
There's no commitment. You see, something must give for you to draw your attention.
That's it.
If there's no pain, there's no gain.
Wow.
And the reason why you see a lot of people not commit to something is because their commitment, investment is not as much. It didn't shake them. It was like just little from the pocket. Okay. But when you commit heavily, in fact, that's actually how I know people who will go find this business. Those who are personally committed heavily in terms of initial investment capital into the venture, then I know their heart is there.
Okay.
And once their heart is there, they will work towards recovering that initial capital and, of course, make the best out of the business. That is why they ask a lot of questions and all that. Okay, so my mindset was there. My family, my wife was ready for me, to run the business, and she said, okay, we'll run on this. The school fees were all at risk of not being paid because it's January. I've already committed the funds. But I told her, relax, God is with us. If anything happens, we'll write a letter to the school that due to unforeseen circumstances, we're unable to pay the school fees for January. February, we're going to pay both January and February.
But we are on a mission.
I'm on a mission.
You saw something.
It's a business. I saw something, but I realized that for God to come into the fore, I need to show my own commitment level into this business. How can I go into a venture where I'm not a believer?
Sure.
I need to believe, I need to commit, and allow God to work in the process as well.
That's powerful. You know, I mean, I'm learning a lot, and I think to everyone that is actually watching right now, lessons that we can actually pick from this is that when you engage on a venture like this one, you need to be able to say to yourself, you know what, I believe in this thing, and I'm going to give it my all. It needs to cost you something. You know?
Of course.
And I like that we both are pastors, and people will pardon us if there's a need for that. You know, but I would like to bring in this aspect that even for the redemption of mankind, God needed to lose something.
Of course.
He lost his nature. He lost himself.
He lost himself.
And made sure that by giving himself out in the form of his son, he would actually gain the humanity. And we cannot afford to say we want big results, but we are not willing to put an effort to those. Wow, that's actually very powerful. That's actually very, very great. Now, I do know that, and I think you touched briefly on this aspect again, Pastor Okey, that there were many forces, and even after you joined and you were in progress with this business, I would believe that there were people that were also still coming at you saying, look, here is this better opportunity here is that, and whatever. How do you respond to that?
You see, again, I'm somebody who's not swayed by what I call flashes in the pan or whatever. I'm not a bling person. I've read books on investment, I've read books on businesses, and those who've gone further to make it in the business world or investment will tell you that get involved in something that is basic, that you understand. Common sense. It shouldn't be complicated.
You know, as you're talking about this business being founded on the foundation of prayer, I believe that there is nothing as important as that. And my prayer is that, you know, pastors within our country, people like myself and yourself, that have got the responsibility to carry the nation on their shoulders, even, I would say, a deeper mandate than the presidency and all of those, could actually understand value that could be derived in platforms like these ones. And I'm talking about from a legitimacy of this vehicle. You know, I don't know what's your take on that, but I strongly believe that if we understand what, or if we can perceive what actually God can do with platforms of this nature, we can definitely go far.
Thank you, Pastor Sifiso. You know, if you look at how people in the Bible, okay, that God walked with and blessed, the blessings that came upon them were not for them only.
Oh, all right.
They were what I call conduits of blessings.
Wow.
And I think that's the mindset that we should have wherever we are in our calling, even as pastors, and even for those who are just in this business platform, that you must see yourself, if you're asking God to bless you, you must tie that to a kingdom purpose.
Okay.
Why do you want God to bless you? For what?
Okay.
To consume it on your selfish need? Of course not.
Wow.
He's not going to honor that. But when you lay down something of value to him, he will definitely run that blessing through you and make you a channel to impact to others.
You must be a conduit.
I call it a conduit.
Wow, I like that.
Otherwise, I mean, you become a Dead Sea. And what happens in the Dead Sea? People just float on it.
Sure.
Okay. Now, let me tell you, our upline, SD Shehu Sifiso, formed a group, and the title of that group is PGW, Power to Get Wealth. Okay. Now, he drew that from Deuteronomy 8:18, which says, and you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore to your fathers, as it is this day. Okay. He knew where the power lies. All right. And then he tied the name of his group to that. Wow. So when we joined, we took that name, but gave it a prefix and said harvest time. Okay. Okay. And there were some scriptures we stood upon, because we understood that, you know, anything, even if you want to get wealth, I mean, the Bible says in Isaiah 45 verse 3, I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places.
Okay.
That you may know that I, the Lord, who call you by your name, am the God of Israel.
Sure.
Because when people start asking, is Longrich owned by Christians? Of course not, they're not Christians. But they are what I call, if you have a spiritual eye, the hidden riches of darkness.
Wow.
They may be holding it, but that belongs to us.
Wow.
And for us to get it, we need to break into that fold. But we cannot just go in there on our own. You need what I call a spiritual cover, a spiritual license to go in there.
Yeah,
this is actually my bedrock of confidence. You see, and when we started, we didn't overlook who we are and other, because we knew we had another scripture in Isaiah 60 verse 22. Isaiah 60:22. It says, "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation."
Wow.
And again, it ends that I, the Lord, will hasten it in His time.
Wow.
So all the scriptures I'm giving you are pronouncements that are backed up by God Almighty. So I may be an individual starting a project, okay, of Longrich, or like you call pioneering, but I know that I'm not going to be the end of it.
Okay.
Because this little person will become 1,000, and a small one will become a nation. And what have we seen in the past 4 years? We've seen Longrich grown out of South Africa, established in Zimbabwe, in Botswana, Namibia, into Zambia, into DRC, Malawi, Tanzania. We're even going out to Mauritius. I mean, it's not even stopping.
Sure.
Because there's a scriptural basis.
Wow. This is actually very, very powerful. You know, because what this says to me is, if you know what are you standing on,
yes,
as you embark on this journey, you will not be shaken by any storm that comes your way, because you know that which you're standing on.
Yes.
And I know.
You'll be fighting against God Almighty. Then who are you to win over? You know, you can't win. I mean, you would think it's an individual. It's not an individual effort. Longrich is bigger than what a lot of people think. Some people think they made Longrich.
I believe that. Yeah, it's very big.
They have no clue what's going on.
It's very big. You know, just touching on that, last night I was actually chatting with my wife, and we were just hinting on something exactly along the lines of what you're saying right now, to say, you know, it is important that as human beings alive on earth, we should have that eye, not just the physical eye that can see limitedly, but one that perceives beyond what your comprehension can actually say to you. And, you know, as we are saying that, it's like one was actually seeing through onto the other side, into the wells that can never run dry. And what I believe exactly in what you're saying right now is that, you know, when God chooses nations, okay, especially like Africa, the dark continent that is so called, you know, God places people in specific teams for specific reasons. And I strongly believe that, I know that as the Vivian has said this previously, actually in the past few days, she was encouraging us to say, guys, you need to remember, this is founded on the foundations of prayer. And I believe God was intentional in that. He was deliberate in what he was doing. And we need to connect with that, because, and as she says, as the Vivian says, that this is a platform that can bring healing to Africa. And I believe that, as I was saying a bit earlier, for us, as pastors, as people in spiritual leadership and the likes, we can actually carry this mandate and usher this light even rapidly into Africa and bring about that impact.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, when we started this, frankly speaking, we were looking at it, you know, to provide a business platform for our church members.
Wow. Okay.
You know, the King's Church Jesus Cathedral, which was why my pastor is my upline and my sponsor, and the husband, you know, both of them chartered accountant. You know, I, you know, fully trust in his confidence to lead me into even business ventures, because I, you know, I've seen he's working. So when we started this, we said, okay, this will actually be a good business platform for our church members.
Okay.
Now that's actually limiting. Well, we didn't know the extent of growth or what's going to happen, the explosion, but we were, let me put it this way, kingdom-minded in the venture that we're going into, to provide, you know, a job for people, alternative job for people, because how can you come to church after prayers and all that, people approach you as a pastor and begin to request for transport money,
Ish.
not to talk about feeding money. And then you begin to wonder, okay, if I bless you spiritually, aren't you expect to bless me materially? That's scriptural. Then if people cannot provide material things for themselves, and the prayer points that you receive in church is all about this and that, then we as pastors should equally find a way to assist the people.
That's true.
So the heart was right, that we needed to show the people how to fish, not providing fish all the time. My passion was to find pastors too who got the same cross-section of members in their congregation, who are flocking there, coming all the time to pray and to ask for breakthroughs, but they didn't have the platform because they may be limited in qualifications and all that. Longrich allows you. It doesn't ask for interview. It doesn't ask for your qualification. It doesn't even care whether affirmative action, how you look, whether you're black, white, yellow, red. All you need is just your commitment and your passion.
Wow.
And once you come on board, you run with it, which is why it has been embraced by a lot of people.
Powerful.
And families have been blessed.
One other area that I want to touch on, as we were discussing, I heard you mention that leadership came all the way from Nigeria, from the UK, came down. And I believe that from what you said, they came to ensure that the teachings, the training to yourselves, to make sure that as you start this venture, you start it on the right footing. That says to me, development or training and development is important in this type of a business. What's your take on that?
I mean, very important. Training and development is important. Actually, when we started, there were no information in terms of there was catalog, but they were in Chinese. Okay. We'll just put it that way. Okay.
Now you have to learn Mandarin.
They have to learn Mandarin. So we launched into internet. We are trying to put some visuals, product slides, and all that together. And we reached out to our uplines in Nigeria who have been into the business already and making success out of it. And they came down in February, just a month after the... actually, they were here in January 15th, 2016, and they came in February as well, to ensure that we receive a foundational training.
Okay.
And to put in place, a training process or system that would be continuous to empower those who are coming into the business to have a good understanding of the business.
Right.
But from my own part, I realized that, not everybody will be able to come to the head office for training. So I started putting materials together using technology, WhatsApp.
Okay.
And everybody who joined under me at that time will realize that the moment you sign up, it doesn't matter where you are, I will push
all the information,
slides and all those things. Even SDV knows that when she came on board, of course, and even Solly will testify that. I'll push all those things to you. Some will complain, my data, but when some complain, I'll say later on you come to appreciate what I'm giving you, because this information I'm releasing now to you were things that we were seeking when we started, that we didn't have. And now I've put them together to give you a quick start.
That's it.
Okay, so run with it.
Yeah.
So that was what we started. But you see, I'm not a be all and know all.
Sure.
I may have started something, but everybody has got their own role in the process. So when people like Pastor Jerry joined the business, they said, no, we need to take this business to the people.
Okay.
So I would say he started the outreach section of training, of moving the business to the community.
Okay.
He was even introduced by an upline called Fikile, Washaba, who was introduced by Happy Motaung.
Okay.
Some of these people, you may not see them, but
I don't even know those people.
I know you don't know them, But because I was very present, I can tell you how they all came in and all that. I'm talking about those on my own tree. I mean, there are other trees as well who are actually doing well in Longrich, but, when you see people coming into your business, especially when you are like a mother hen overlooking, everything, you can tell everybody's beginning, like, the way you give birth to a child, and the training process, and who will excel and who will be slow learner and all that.
Sure.
And I can see that, and they've all grown to be top leaders, and reputable leaders. So they started doing the training, taking the training to the communities, going to places. I mean, some people say I will go to Free State, I will go to Eastern Cape. I say, as far as your eyes can see,
Go.
go. The same commandment that God gave Abraham.
Yeah.
So I said, if you believe on that, run.
That's it.
Choose your region.
Okay.
Go. There's no competition. It's all for you. And it's the same thing now. Some are now begin to look outside the country.
So people
and say nations.
Exactly. So those individuals that would say, no, it's actually too late to come into Longrich, the market is saturated, they don't know what they're talking about.
No, people, I mean, look, let's take for instance, I mean, a lot of people eat bread.
Yeah.
When you go to the shelves of the supermarket, don't you see
Multiple brands.
you come, you choose the one you like that appeals to you,
Yeah.
and you walk away, you pay for it.
Great.
Tomorrow you will decide, you know what, this taste, I don't like this taste, I need another one.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that will stop. Somebody else may start a cycle of loving that bread.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's out there. It's everything. It's all about choice. But this is what I believe. Okay. You must believe in your network.
That's it.
Talking about on the business side now.
Okay.
Okay. You must believe in the product. It must appeal to you, your common sense.
Sure.
Okay. As a spiritual person, you must have the peace.
Okay.
I must tell you that that peace was something that I could feel and touch.
Okay.
And I knew that this thing here, this assurance here, is backed by, you know, by God.
That's it.
So when somebody says, I'm tired and all that, I say, okay, you know what? You're walking away from your blessing, truly. But human beings are naturally rebellious. So some of them will want to try things, you know, and all that.
Sure.
And when they go, they get burnt. And I can tell you, most people who jumped out prematurely. And none of them have settled.
That's the problem.
And my heart bleeds because it wasn't as if they were not given the best counsel. But I think somewhere along the line, greed came in.
Okay.
Because Longrich rewards.
I've never seen a company that rewards like this one.
I mean, I couldn't even travel to Cape Town as a single person. When I got married, it was difficult.
Sure.
But Longrich made it possible for me to travel to Cape Town on a 4-day journey, holidays, in a 5-star hotel with my family, all expense paid.
Wow.
Ever since then, I've been going on holidays. Global.
Wow.
And it's paid by Longrich.
Listen to this.
You know?
So it makes dreams possible.
Dreams possible. House incentives, the money. I mean, school fees that I was struggling to pay when I joined the business. Now I pay for a whole year in advance.
In advance. That's powerful.
2 siblings. They know me at the school.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I do know, and we've been reading now on the, you know, what do you call this, on social media and everywhere, that, you know, there's hypes and, you know, uncertainties from other people and whatever the case might be. People feeling that now this thing is not working for them, blah, blah, blah. I think from what you're saying, I gather that you cannot actually want to be in this type of a business and say within 3 months, you don't see any results and then you give up. I mean, you guys have been in this for 4 years and you're still pushing it. And nothing is actually shaking you in the process.
Everything is all about belief.
Belief.
For those who say it's not working, they have not believed.
They've not
It's just like
believed.
the gospel.
Wow.
If you believe, it will work for you.
Wow.
It's when you don't believe that you don't pay attention to it, that you don't devote to it. And network marketing is not something you're not taught in school. It's a
that's the
whole
thing.
new profession that changes your psyche. And somebody who has been trained in Western medicine, you know, science-based, to now embrace this, it was a bit of a shift. I had to actually break away. And I know a lot of people in my profession struggle with that. And I keep telling people, yes. In fact, when they resigned, you know, from government, they were like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? This and that. I say, you know, you don't understand. You know, this is like it's like a kingdom of God. You know, somebody discovered a treasure and sells off everything and buys that land. That is what I found. I found something better. And a lot of them are envious. So I would say, focus on it. Do everything that the business requires you to do.
Okay.
Okay? Get in touch with the top leaders who have done well in it.
Okay.
Learn from them. Mentorship is very important.
That's true.
You know, there's no way you can get involved in a venture without knowing who has excelled in this area, without tapping in from them.
Yeah.
What I call anointing of
That's
success. You need to find that.
That's true.
You know, and look at their work ethics. I don't sleep all the time, you know.
Wow.
So people don't understand. I mean, those who join the business and who have reached out to know that even sometimes at 1 a.m. when you send me a message, I'll reply.
respond.
I'll respond because I'm busy prospecting.
Wow.
You think it's easy? No, it's not easy. but the rewards are great.
Wow.
So I knew that, it rewards you according to your input. It's not a platform for lazy people.
Wow.
So if you're there, think again. Pray over your business, commit into it what the business requires you to do, okay? Mentorship, I'm telling you, you will see that passion matters as well.
Wow.
People join the business actually when they see the excitement coming.
Exactly.
It's not even, when, the rest they will pick up later on as they, but when you show excitement and passion.
This is powerful counsel. Pastor Okey, our business and the value of this business, I strongly believe that it is based on the product. Okay.
Yes.
I've never come across a successful leader in this business that does not use the product.
Yes.
And I don't think you're one of those.
Oh, no.
What testimonies can you have for us in terms of
Let
the
me tell you,
product?
I mean, when I joined, when in government, I was a manager, and everybody can testify. As a manager, the most difficult part of the job is to control human beings.
Okay.
It's not the job itself. I love the job, but managing about 30 people and all that created a problem for me.
Okay.
My blood pressure was sky high.
Wow.
In fact, I was placed on medications. My cholesterol was high as well.
Okay.
So one of the things that attracted me to this business was that there are product supplements I can use to bring down my blood pressure.
Okay.
So I started taking the brown tea,
Okay.
the berry oil, and of
Wow.
course the cordyceps. And I can tell you my blood pressure I'm off medication. I don't even take that.
That's
Cholesterol is
wonderful.
out.
So you don't even need to be on chronic medication.
No, why do I need that? Because one of the side effects, look, I'm a pharmacist, I give out all these things at the counter. One of the side effects of this medication is decreased libido.
Wow.
And for somebody starting a family as a man, I don't want my wife to be complaining.
You know what? I like that counsel. For us younger men, I like that counsel.
Yes.
Listen, you will never see me going there anymore. I've got my Longrich products. Pastor Okey, you say brown tea, berry oil, cordyceps, and I see you've got that alkaline cup there.
Yes.
Wow.
Everybody should have this alkaline cup.
Powerful.
As a member, you must carry this cup everywhere you go. This is our flagship product. No other network or company or whoever has got this. In fact, I call this discussion start.
Okay.
When people see this, they appreciate the product and begin to.
And they start inquiring, what is this?
And once they start, give them full information, they will come into the business.
Powerful.
One of the a doctor friend of mine that I signed into the business came because his kids were having eczema all over their skin.
Okay.
And he was asking me to mix these things that we usually mix.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I discovered that he was wasting money. So I gave him a bamboo soap. I said, go try this soap on your kids. He came back a few days after and was excited. I was asking him, what was this? That he wants to buy more. So I told him, sir, I don't sell products. I'll show you how to.
Okay.
So I brought out the form, and that's how he joined the business, and he came on board as a VIP member.
Wow.
And that's exactly.
You know, I want to close this thing, but now you're triggering it again.
Oh, okay.
You know, you're saying, I like that answer. You said to him, you don't sell products. It sounds like a contrast. What are you saying there?
You see, I sell solutions.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is powerful. Longrich is a solution provider with a lot of products within it. So what Pastor Okey basically is saying is that when you have Longrich, you have the solution.
Yeah.
It's not just about an individual product. Wow. This is powerful. I wish we could actually have the whole day to discuss and chat. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, sitting with senior leaders. And when I say senior leaders, I'm also referring to, you know, for me as a pastor, sitting down with a fellow man of God, there is an aspect of seniority as well that I look at. And I say, SD Percy said this the other day, that indlela ibuzwa phambili, you know, which means those that have walked the path, you need to learn from them. Now, here is Pastor Okey giving us counsel on how best to do this business. I mean, these are the people that actually played a role in pioneering the boom that we see today. He's here. There was a time a few years ago when the business was taking a dump. He was still there. He's still standing. Even today, he's still standing. So what I'm trying to say to you is, let us learn to be stable in what we are doing. Let us make it a point that as we connect with this business, as he has said, I do understand that we come from different backgrounds, but connect with the inner you. Speak to yourself and begin to believe or develop that belief within you that will say, I'm committed to this and I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give it my all, even if it takes me 5 years. He said he gave himself 5 years. It's not yet that 5 years, but he's successful. Listen to this. In a space of 3 years, he's already seen over 350,000 people in his network. That is a powerful asset. You know, I call it an asset. There is a discussion for another day, because all of us within your network are an asset that started with a decision one day. Wow. A decision that actually took away your children's school fees.
Yeah.
And
Price has to be paid.
this is powerful, guys.
Yeah.
A man that had a vision. Here we are today. I'm one of his downlines. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I'm the 100th generation, you know, in his network. But I'm so grateful, Pastor Okey, for your time. I know that we pulled you out of a very busy schedule on a Tuesday morning. But I believe that, you know, you are here, and your commitment to this business is encouragement to us. And I pray that each and every one of us that would actually be watching this, make it a point that you watch it on replay as much as you can. There's a lot of nuggets that we can learn from this. Even myself, when I live here, I'm going to make sure that I replay this to make sure that I grasp it, because I want to reach the top. The bottom is overcrowded.
Yes.
Pastor Okey, your last remarks.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Longrich vision is very clear. It's better life,
Better future.
better future. Committed to a healthy and a beautiful lifestyle.
Wow.
That shows you where this company is going.
Sure. If you understand that, then you will know what is it that we are committed to. You will know what is it that has hooked us into this business. I myself, I've told myself that, you know what, all my children, my wife, and everyone else that is connected to my name, I would want to make it a point that they are part of this business, because I want us all to have that better future. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Make it a point that as we close this, if you've got any questions, connect with the person that referred you to this podcast, or maybe even just feel free to ask questions. You know, just make comments there, and you will actually be able to respond to this. But one thing that I actually want to emphasize is that if you decide to commit to this business, regard it as a business. Give it an energy as a business, and you will see the results. Whatever input that you make, you will definitely see the results. As the Percy says, it is predictable. I just want to attest to that. Just do the right things, you will definitely see the results. Giving up is not an option. Be persistent and be consistent in doing the right things. You will definitely see the results.
And pray.
And pray. I mean, you hear what Pastor Okey says. You need to pray. I mean, why not pray for your business?
Yes.
That's the best advice. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.